SNX Radio invites you to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos with us as we dive into UFOs, cryptids, and everything otherworldly. As we navigate the night, we investigate the unknowns that spark our curiosity and challenge our understanding of reality.
Let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller rink we'll never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX Radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX Radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side. We stand hand in hand. In this dance of truth, let the story expand. Cosmic ride, secrets hiding in the tide. It's so deep, it shakes the skies, dancing under alien eyes. Signal flash, the truth ignites, lost in neon endless nights. Mysteries, they call our name, we're all players in this game. The rhythm speaks, the stars will show, follow the beat, the unknown will glow. It's out there, it's a sign. UFOs, encrypted calls, cosmic secrets breaking walls. The truth is near, the truth is near. Don't look at the walls. The truth is near. Don't look away, don't look away. Don't know. Feel the vibe, the cosmic ride. Secrets hiding in the tide. They're so deep, it shakes the skies. Dancing under alien eyes. Signals flashing, the unknown glow. Lights flashing, beats crashing. Feel the pulse, feel the glow, levels go. Dance through the night, uncover the day. Stars hum secrets, whispers in the void. Footsteps in the woods, silence destroyed. Sasquatch shadow, moonlight gleam. Echoes ripple, is this a dream? Signals pulse through the cosmic stream. Truth ain't clear, or so it seems. Eyes to the skies, minds collide. What's real hides, where the unknown resides. Unraveling mysteries, the universe speaks. Hidden in the shadows, the answers we seek. Cosmic connections, truths untold. Reality bends, let the secrets unfold. Metal birds hover, glowing in the night. Gravity's broken, wrong feels right. Voices crackle from the static hum. Are they here or yet to come? Footprints in soil too big for a man. A blueprint of something beyond the plan. Dimensions twist like threads unwind. Every question sparks a curious mind. What if we're not alone? What if this world's alone? What if the truth's been known? Footlight gleam and no racing. Everything is this old known race. Everyone the mysteries, the unknown, and what the unknown resides. Metal birds hover, glowing in the night. Gravity's broken, wrong feels right. Voices crackle from the static hum. Are they here or yet to come? Footprints in soil too big for a man. A blueprint of something beyond the plan. Dimensions twist like threads unwind. Every question sparks a curious mind. What if we're not alone? What if this world's alone? What if the truth's been known?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SNX Radio. I'm Coley. I just wanted to let you know I apologize for the delay. It seemed like StreamYard was having a bit of an issue, kind of getting things going. It's kind of lagging, so I just wanted to get that all taken care of before I came out and drug you guys through it. So anyway, I want to say hello to everybody, Kitty Catty Whack and Chad. Nice to see you, Mad Paximus. Of course, I love that. Boundless authenticity. Oh, we were just talking about you. How are you? And welcome, Swamp Dog. Nice to see you. Kurt W75 is in the house. I love it. Let's see. Kilburn. Oh, you're on X. Thanks, buddy. Oh, I always appreciate when you do. Thank you, thank you. And Magneticus. Oh, it's so nice to see you. You finally, I didn't send you the wrong link to the different day on accident. I'll never forget that. Anyway, getting with tonight. It's good to see everybody. I know sometimes we don't always have Sunday night shows, but tonight we do have somebody who many of you probably know, seen in chat, seen on Facebook, Mojoe the Mad. And basically, we were talking behind, just kind of getting into some of the paranormal stuff. If you've ever seen, he's got a Podbeam show, Dark Matters. It's definitely very cool. Check it out. He's creative, professional, renowned for his contributions as a musician, visual artist, digital content creator, writer, and podcaster. So he's got a distinctive voice that bridges the worlds. I don't know why I just did that when I was, of course, giving his introduction. So yeah, so he's got contemporary media, ancient mysticism, like he's got a little bit of everything. So kind of he's I'm gonna bring him out here and make sure he's unmuted and just let him give his introduction. I
Hi.
apologize. Hi.
Thank you
You've
for
got a
having me on.
lot. Yes, welcome, welcome. You've got a lot of different layers in this, and I was like, the more I said, I'm like, I'm gonna bring him out because when you explain it and you kind of, otherwise it does like I think people are gonna get lost in it, the layers of it. But it's kind of go into what you do, who you are, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I am Mojoe the Mad. Uh, I am a content creator on Podbean. I have been doing, I do art. I'm self taught at the bass and guitar and drums. Um, I'm a writer, mostly poetry, but I've been experimenting on writing satirical books on religious studies. Nothing published yet. Let's see here. I've had multiple, like what you would consider to be, I guess, CE5 encounters, ghost encounters. I've had a couple what people would consider. I don't even know if they were a Sasquatch, but they were definitely. That was really interesting. God forms. Lots of stuff that's happened through my life. I'm right now. I've been sober since 2020. I don't drink or do anything, but I used to experiment and guide people through psychedelic experiences.
Oh, I've done those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sermon. Well, yeah, I wanted to try and see what it was all about. It wasn't like it was a problem or anything, but I understand. I know people who do it. Grant Cameron's gone out like almost 60 times, like on the
Yeah.
DMT stuff. So,
Yeah, I've done that.
yeah, no, I had no judgment there.
Yeah. No, whether people judge me or not, whatever, I'm just here to tell a
No,
story.
I mean, just as the saying goes, like,
Yeah,
I felt like you were kind
yeah.
of beating yourself up a bit over it for a second.
So
I was like, oh, don't worry about that.
my stage name used to be Mojoe Android Dancer, which stands for Mad, right? So I added the Mad to it. Someone gave me the name Mojoe, right? I didn't just put that on my on my name just to be cool, but I ended up using it. And the reason why I add Mad to it is because I think I earned it, right? It's okay to be nuts and proud, right? And now I guess people would call me more sane, right, than I was when I was younger. But whenever I would tell my experiences to people, they would just look at me, right, and like, you're crazy, or dismiss me or whatever. And so I just kept it. That's been my name,
Well, I
that I
think it
used.
caused a lot of fear, don't you? Like, in people, and there was a huge, when I was growing up like that, I know with my mother, even though it was derived from her family lineage, my great aunt, she was still like so freaked out where she would be like, I like wanting to call a priest for an exorcism, which see as a kid, and I'm just telling her what I could see, but that's how
Yeah.
freaked out she was by the whole scenario, and I'm like, man.
Yeah,
She's just a kid, but
there was a lot. I mean, it's all come to light now thanks to like David Grush and like what's been happening like within these different documentaries, whether you believe them or not. But like they have a massive ridicule like campaign going on people who've had experiences. And what I'm really here to do is to let those who are, it's time to come out of the shadows. It's time now. Your time is now to talk and tell your truth and share it. Some people are afraid of it. I have no fear of ridicule. I don't care.
you know what though? If more people stand out there and more people stand up and more people speak out, guess what they can't do to the others who are? It's not as easy to do. They can't hold us all back. But when there's just a few of us out there saying some things and the rest are just saying silent, then it puts targets on people's backs. And
Well,
that's the
that's
problem.
true, but they can't target us all. And if they do, let them
Right.
come. Let them
So
come.
we need to
I'll film
stick
it.
together. We know how they does. Good luck. I've had a
Yeah, I'll film it. I'll film
oh
it.
boy, yeah, no, I'm filming. I've filmed. But there's a real, definitely like a realness behind like some of the stuff that that can be used against people. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people out there that have had that happen, and
Yeah.
so much as like their sanity, and whether, they've been taken places against their will. And it's just like, it can be used. And so the more people that just really stay quiet about it, it's like, then, and not standing
They
up
win.
and saying like,
They
hey,
win. Yeah, they win if
yeah,
you stay quiet.
right. And the
Silence
rest
is
of us speaking out lose like
yeah.
3-fold, tenfold.
I
The
also wanted to give my platform over to people who had those experiences as well. I try to get who I can who wants to share on my show to be able to come on my show, and be able to tell their story as well. But yeah, we live in a world where, like, right now it's very heavily like, the left right alchemy of everything, that is keeping everyone asleep, in my opinion. Kind of takes front, the front is on the front line of everything right now, right?
mm-hmm.
So they try to wrap us up in those like kind of like 3D like little emotional rabbit holes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
emotional regulation.
yeah, that's how they get you. That's how they
Mm-hmm.
brainwash you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so we try to explore those things on my show. I've been doing my show, or at least podcasting, since about 2005. I was originally with Blog Talk Radio on a show called Two in the Same Boat. And that went for about 3 years. And later on, due to squabbling with my co-host, that ended. And for a while, I didn't do anything for a while, but then I started on Podbeam again with my co-host, Dr. Clutch, and we did a show called Please Stand By, which was where I was the co-host to his lead, sort of the Ed McMahon or whatever you want to call it. And that went on for a couple years. And then my co-host decided to take a break. And then we decided to come back on. And now we've been on Blog Talk Radio for the last 3 years. And with Of Dark Matters podcast.
That's cool. You guys do a cool show over there.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah, I like it. I love doing like kind of the old radio feel of it because I can get away with like FX, right? And I've always been, maybe someday I'll do an entire like 1930 style serial, right?
Right.
Like where you have the effects and I've always wanted to do that, but I just love having to be able to have not only a show that promotes free speech, right? I'm really big on that. I believe that everyone should have a right to talk, even stuff that makes others uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want
I'll
to
be the first one. I might not like what you have to say, but I'll be the first one to defend you have the right to say it.
Yes,
Always
definitely.
remember that. Definitely.
That's what I believe in,
Mm-hmm.
So, we've been doing it. We're pretty, I don't know if we're in the big charts yet. I mean, I got about 5,000 followers right now.
That's good.
But that's not bad. It's pretty good. And I just do it because I believe that like creation is the real only magic left in this world. Right.
Right. And
whether
we
it
are
be
creators.
poetry, art, and music.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the real forms of what people could consider magic. You create something from the darkness of your mind, you bring it forth and recreate it into reality.
Yeah.
And then if it's shared with others or even given, I found myself that I could be both creator and destroyer if I wanted to be either good or bad.
Like a one-man demolition.
Well, I more to test reality, to test reality, to try to bend the bars of the prison that's
for sure,
surrounding us, and it feels like that sometimes.
No, I call it. That's what I say too. We gotta really think about when our time comes and strategically how we're gonna make it off of this. Otherwise, you're gonna wind yourself right back down here on what I am going to safely call what feels like, whether or not it is or not, or who is doing it for whatever reason. This feels an awful lot like a prison planet.
A little bit, yeah. And we're all like, we're all a part of social media, which almost feels like sort of a cybernetic hive mind collective, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
We were taught that it was for all of us to get together, get to know each other, but yet we're still
Yeah.
trapped in a cyber cubicle, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so I like to test it out. I feel like if you haven't, you know, been in Facebook jail or
Oh my gosh.
what you're saying to me,
I
not doing
didn't
it
get
right.
out of Facebook jail for I have all the screenshots. Oh my gosh, during that whole thing, I had like 80 or 90. I had lost my on Facebook. This is how petty it got. I had lost my like ability to have my notifications given in chronological order. So they would give
Yeah.
me like a message from that I had like 11 years ago, a
Yeah.
message like, I mean, this was crazy, and I never got out of it for like over 2 years.
Yeah.
I was insane. So
Yeah, they did it to me
stupid.
too. Yeah, it's all
Oh yeah.
censored now. But that's how we face it. I mean, like I feel this is just how I've always thought of it. Like you can silence me all you want, but eventually, like you won't be able to. You know, I'm gonna find another way.
You know what though? There's okay, so you're gonna find another way, right? But
Yeah.
eventually they up the ante on this one, and I'm gonna say this because and my viewers know and my listeners know that I've made local intel, and
Mhm.
it has to do with my buddy that just it's a whole long story. But
Mm.
the thing of it is eventually if you do not find support and you just keep fighting this battle alone, they will silence you for a period of time.
For a period of time.
But there's people all across this country, and some are ending up dead. I'm on a
That's
list of
true.
5. 3 are in the yellow, 2 of us are left in the green. So it's
Yeah.
like when you see that, and it's like with people and the stuff that they can do and mentally, psychologically, like, and you're talking about every aspect of it. And it's always in places people don't want to talk about because it's like, oh my gosh, it's that shame piece, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't, when you
Yeah.
and don't ever get, I guess, what I would caution, because keep talking, keep doing. But if you can find people, the more you can find to army around you, like the rest of us. I mean, I'm always about a good cause. Don't go out
Yeah.
there and do not go out there and put a bullseye on your back, for real. I that would be my best in everything that I've been through and everything that I've learned from this and the cause and all of it. And freedom's not free, like by any stretch of your imagination, is
Yeah.
to do not, because they will find a way to silence you.
Well, this is what led me to heathenism a little bit, that and searching for who I was and my identity and my ancestors. But this one saying, which is, "Fear not your hour of doom, for your time is set, and none may escape it." And that's what I live by. If they like, I can only attempt to create a hive mind to battle the imposed hive mind that is being put upon all of us. That's all I can do. And the closest to that I've had is when people open up to me, like say like my wife, who I've been with for 14 years. Like we can read and send each other messages with our mind. She'll be thinking about chocolate cake as I'm going to the grocery store, and all of a sudden I come home with chocolate cake, and that's a real, I think, ability of all of us to have, that we do have, but it just seems to come with those you start to get close to, so that's as far as that is going. But I'm sure like we're on the verge of figuring all of that out right now. But yeah, I think the major obstacle we're going to have is going to be a controlled AI with a programmed agenda put into it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. So wait till everybody wants their nice little electric cars at the technology way, so they think, or they stage you broke a law and they drive you right down to the police department. Like that's not too far around the corner here. Like
Nope.
it's crazy.
Absolutely,
Absolutely crazy.
None of us asked for it, but it's the reality, as we are the passengers through these events. How do we dodge them when they come here or deal with them? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess not be emotionally invested in anything.
And we just got to crash the system and be prepared. But what are we going to do? Think of how we're all invested in it now. It's like, oh my gosh, if I crash that system, we got no more shows. We got nowhere of reaching people to talk, or
Mhm.
contacts, or even like, because you build it in this life, and the people, it's like, man, we need to maybe get a better database together. That way, but then it's like your cell phones, they go down. I mean, what are you gonna do? We should have plans here. There should be plans like of some sort. Because
Yeah.
we're on this, on the social construct, and as badly as I hate AI, we need the technology if we want to continue this way. Unless people have better ideas, please, by all means, write them down in chat, because we've already crossed that line, like that point of no return. That's what I feel
Yeah.
like anyway.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think there's some occult mumbo jumbo going on with the technology too. I think we're at a point where they're kind of merging, right? Uh, if you, it's one of the things that when I started, like, was noticing like symbolism everywhere, right? There's
Right.
symbolism. We're surrounded by esotericism everywhere. It's in
Mm-hmm.
everything. The best way to notice like a sigil that is really well known is the McDonald's arches, right? That was
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the first ones. And then noticing that like anything that was causing us all to be emotionally like fearful or angry or attached to something is involved with some sort of symbolism or ritual that's being done to us, right?
Yeah.
And the belief that like being emotionally attached to something, it's easy, it's a lot easier to say all this shit, and it's a lot harder to admit I don't know shit.
Right.
Every
Every
time I tried to say that I was an expert at anything or like thought I knew the answers, I got my ass handed to me each time.
bite ya, for sure. I know. I don't even play that way anymore. Okay, so SNX, I don't know if you knew this or not, stands for subnation, which stands for subliminal dissemination. Next is who you're
Okay.
looking for. So it's all of those things like that break down in those like control mechanisms. So when you're talking about that, I'm like, we used to track out how things were just written in the paper. But when you start to read between the lines and you're seeing the symbology, it's like a whole new language. Like,
Yeah.
something like steganography and stuff would step in. So we started to identify people with certain things that we were seeing among some of the symbols, among, things that they were using. So it's really fascinating when you get
Robert
down into the
Anton
level.
Wilson. Robert Anton Wilson, with his book, The Illuminatus Trilogy, exactly what you're calling right now, what he referred to as phenords, the words between the lines. And a lot of people who
Mhm.
have, I'm currently reading the trilogy right now,
Oh, really?
basically was to show you that even the idea of conspiracy could be an implanted psyop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh,
And
for
that
sure.
all of it should be not taken seriously at all of it. Like why so serious?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
No, I know what you're saying, because I know about the attachment, and you're supposed to be the passenger in the moving train. That's the way
yeah,
I call it. You
yeah.
can't get too emotionally invested or attached into this, because so much of it is an illusion.
It is.
Definitely.
It is definitely an illusion. It's all programming. My
Mhm.
wife showed me something really interesting just today. She took a video of the TV on and the lights on in slow motion. And this was a thing I think about a year ago that people were noticing, that if you slow motion lights or the television, you'll start to notice that there are blinking patterns within them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that almost, I was telling her today, I was like, that looks a lot like some sort of code, because it was blinking like blink, 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 blink,
Oh,
blink,
yeah.
blink, 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 blink. Who
And
knows?
people don't understand, and there was a machine that they used to have, and I know because my grandmother helped. I don't know, I can't even know how, if I could explain them this much further, but it used to be a light machine, and it could
Mhm.
tell by the way that it was in the patterns that it was blinking and in the colors that it was blinking, and then it would find deficiencies in people. Just, it's a language all on its own.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. I mean, even English is considered to be sort of a form of spell casting, right?
Oh,
Language
definitely.
itself, from its characters in the alphabet being numerological. Sorry,
Oh
I
yeah.
mispronounced that right.
No,
To
no, no. I know
everything.
she's like evil live. I mean, like there's so many things, and if you even go down to like the words and how they, and that's what we did because I was like polymorphing. So then I have to go and look and break down like the Hebrew, like
Mhm.
find the original word. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
how intensely, like that's how far deep down that rabbit hole of cryptology and steganography I went in, and we
Yeah.
started cracking brevity codes and like all sorts of, and it was just crazy because I would read the newspaper and I was like, I could see everything just pop out and see how cells of people
Patterns.
communicate. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so the best way for them to do it is keep it really, really small, but they can all read the same language. So I know if somebody comes up and is able to like break down what my podcast means, like I know it's somebody like, well, but not necessarily who everybody is, but that's kind of how
Yeah.
it operates. But when you pick up that paper and it's like you start read and you're like, oh my God, everything changes. You can't
Yeah.
unsee all of that,
Yep. That's part of the awakening too.
right? That's true. And you can't stop that process either. So you guys better really think
No.
about it.
Well, there's two
Really think
ways,
about
like when you're faced with this kind of information or these kind of experiences, you can go, I call it this, there's the upward and downward spiral, right? Like when you start, and I went through a lot of the downward spiral for a while of it,
Oh
the
yeah.
dark aspects of it, right? Like when you start facing this reality or it starts showing its face to you, and either you can pull yourself up and slowly climb out of it and not let it rule you, or you can see people that have, where it's really affected them, right? It shattered them. They're
Yeah.
not able to really relate with like the 3D reality anymore.
They're coming back another round. They're coming back another round. They got to pull it together and decide because this is not another round of this. It might not, be any more pleasurable than the last one. That's the way I look at it.
I think the awakening comes with an overdose of fear and
Hmm.
pain. I think a little bit. I think that's what
Absolutely.
sheds the light of the programming and all of the structures that have been built from you as you were born into it and then into adulthood. And there's also people that are not ready for that information or that enlightenment at all. They just wouldn't be able to handle it. And when I used to be a guide for certain people with DMT or psychedelics, I would see the difference between certain people at that point that
Is
and
it
I don't do it.
telling what they're like going through? Because I was crazy in the group I was in. There was one guy that was laughing and crying, hysterically laughing and hysterically. He's like gone for like a few hours doing this. The other guy, he's in the fetal position, or like and and me. It didn't bother me. I just had a smile on my face. I just accepted it for what it was, and then I came by just and the guy's like, so he put me under like 3 different times with that same like ceremony. But it
Yeah.
was like, I guess, what have you seen? Because it's just like, it's so crazy to even explain to somebody. The only way I can explain it is like, your ego, it's dead, like gone. Like you see
Pure
things
consciousness.
so different. Yeah, it's just
Pure
crazy.
consciousness.
You can't even put it into words.
Well, I know it changed my trips where it used to be
Yeah.
like recreational to like where I was taking it more seriously and more like a ritual and trying to have safety protocols up. I tried to use a lot of what I've read from books on shamanism and different things, and watching how they dealt with it in their contingency plan with helping people get through it. And that's kind of what I went through. I kind of talk people out of it now, though, because I kind of feel like it opens you up too much. And I kind of tell people, be careful what you wish for, because
Mhm.
I think that had something to do alongside of the diagnosis I had of not sleeping correctly that led me, and then led me to wake up a little bit. And then it gets to a point where things are just too loud. I mean, if you're taking a substance that's activating all the dormant parts of your brain, right, then
Yeah.
you're going to have moments where you're going to run into something or some entity or something, right, and I'd rather do that with my head straight than I would exploring it into the.
You mean like the machine elves or whatever
I just don't know. I mean, it's more than that. I mean, like there got points in time with it where I thought I was dealing with God forms. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and then it's something
Actual entities, not
Yeah.
just constructs of the mind. They could have been. I mean, I don't know. I it's subjective.
You know what, the layers, I always explain this, like even in OBE experiences, I had this, I wanted so badly to get out, and this like all of a sudden this like cryptid looking lady with like a
Mhm.
like, I mean, it was like something, and I didn't, in my head I was like, I don't care, I'm trying really hard to get out, and like this is the best I got. What do you know, look like something from Tales of the Crypt or something. So I didn't really
Sometimes it
buy
can be
into
dark,
it.
but I
Yeah,
think
I just thought
we
it
are
was
the
maybe
gateway.
to stop us from going any further is what I kind of took it as.
Depends. Like it depends. I think we're the gateway to certain things, right? Our consciousnesses, our energy, our I guess you call it a soul or whatever. And my experiences is it might seem powerful and interesting to channel something or be in contact with something, and it may be neutral or good, but you also open yourself up to negative entities too. And then how are you going to deal with that? Like you got to be real strong to deal with that kind of stuff. I always felt like it was sort of a shortcut to that, form of consciousness. And I didn't think so before, but now I do. And like when you take shortcuts to stuff without doing the hard work, which is, meditation or getting in the ritual mindset, then, or even taking those precautions like you would, right? Like they would during that kind of, and taking as a ritual instead of like recreational, then you're opening up yourself to stuff you may or may not be able to handle. I'd rather do it clean in my head.
Well, yeah, I know it does fracture some people. I don't think everybody's meant to do this, but who's to say? I mean, I kind of feel like I was a mental health therapist for 7 years, and we used to believe that we were our own best experts. But there are people out there, not everybody, but who's to say? Like, I mean, shouldn't that information be out there? And we just realize along the way, like, because I don't know. But then I thought like you did, right? Because what scared me was the people's response to like Project Bluebeam, or if they came out and there was a bunch of craft like in their front lawn. Like I think Aggie Noss one time posed a question, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to run back in my house. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to try and do what I did the last time and warn everybody not to freak out and not to panic. So I see both sides of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like there's got to be a way, or I guess something implemented in there that.
Well, how real is our world though? Like we only think we know the reality of this world, but the more I've gotten into explorations into my own consciousness, like I starting to see socially engineered archetypes all around me. I start to feel like this world is sort of a projection of a like a postcard, kind of. And then there's this weird, dark, sinister shit sometimes you feel like when you get sensitive to those energies. Like you really need to be like, I think everyone should be trying to train themselves through meditation and like mindfulness. And that's the first steps, I think, to understanding it all. But, like I said, I try to talk people out of it. I really do. I was kind of gung-ho about it, but when I started to notice that some people would just freak out, then run outside my door.
That's their programming. Yeah.
Yeah. And are some of these people like, I mean, people have talked about soulless humans, right? Amongst us, people that are just projections. What about like that opens it up to all sorts of weird stuff.
I break it down, those people, to the people that absolutely hate humanity. They hate humanity in every, like they like nothing about humanity. And I don't know, on what level, but that's, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, there's utter hatred that comes from like that when there's not, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know what they are exactly. I don't know if this is like an evil, everybody's got a different name for it. So I try and like, break it down to kind of the basics, because I wanted to know what this thing is too. Like, I want to
Yeah.
know where it comes from, what it stems from. Does it, what is going on actually? Because I don't care in what end of the spectrum you come from, everybody's going to agree that there is something here. And it is
All I
not.
know, oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
All I know is that when I'm around something that is paranormal or before an experience, I lately am able to like almost like feel it happen before it's happening. And then I also have what some people would call like time dilation. And I can literally see what appears to be like almost like dust going through the air really, really slowly. The best
My
way I can
son's
explain it
manipulating too.
is there's a weird like feeling in my stomach, almost like an anxiety, but not. And then things start to slow down. And if you've ever been in an accident or anything like that, like time slows down, and that's when I will know that I'm about ready to have an experience or have
That's a good
something
way of
want to come
putting
and say
it.
hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember my audience has heard me say this a bazillion times. I was like 7 years old, and the guy who was driving the car through a massive snowstorm on a highway coming back he had a heart attack and he died while driving the car. He worked for my grandmother. Me and my grandmother were in the back seat of the car, just a half a mile back. Thank God he spun the car around 3 times, so it woke everybody up in the car. Thank God, otherwise we would all been sleeping and dead. But I just remember him going through a cornfield and I saw it like going up and watched the speedometer and we were like at 90. And it's like, then my grandmother reaches over. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. My grandma's like, shut off the car. The cleaning lady in front didn't know how to do it. So she reaches over and she shuts it off. And we're like, maybe like a foot. And that's before cell phones. This is before any of this. But
Yeah.
I know that feeling of what it's like. And then, my son, he also, after an ET experience, has a little bit of that too. And he's very
Yeah.
good and strategic at volleyball or things. And he talks about, that time dilation or how you go about going into that. But yeah,
I
that's
think
fascinating.
I don't know, but I mean, I could tell you that I have a feeling and a belief from my reality that they are amongst us. Whatever it is, it's not just aliens. It's like all sorts of different things that we don't really understand. Only
Right.
that some things that our ancestors more than likely talked about what we now call a mythology, which is basically the religions and spirituality that happened before the advent of Christianity and Abrahamism, right? And now those are religions because they are the modern modern religion, and everything else we find that is myth. But there are some myths that seem to like be universal, right? From demons and angels to hairy men, right? Like to Bigfoot type stuff, like vampires, giants, fairies, right?
Yeah.
Dragons. Are
Oh,
they
yeah.
metaphor? Are they metaphor? Are they something that our ancestors that they coexisted with? Giants is another one. Those things also led me to look into mythologies and old religions and different spiritual paths too. I mean, I looked for answers. They all seem to be a puzzles and a piece of human consciousness, or ideas. Are they all just imagination? I mean, there's people to this day that see things that aren't supposed to exist, and some of those things are the ones that I just included to this day.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And there's such a thing. It's like, we've had such a history of, I mean, like the Salem witch projects. I mean, burning people at the stake for, thinking outside of some of this stuff. So it's so hard. And until you experience it, or I guess if you've been, around it, I don't know how you could possibly understand it. And this is kind of why I do what I do with finding people who are experts in areas that I can trust, because if I can't experience it, then how do I truly really know like what's at the core of it and how to navigate it? Because there's so much, and I don't know if all humans are capable of doing it. I'm just saying that we would be so overwhelmed sensory wise by all of that, that I feel like that's part of the like, human limitation, you
Yeah, a
know,
little
and
bit.
kind of navigating some of that. So I think
I think
everybody's got their expertise, I guess, in certain areas.
I would agree, I guess, but I mean, anytime you want to put a title on somebody or call yourself an expert in something, every time I thought I knew what I was talking about, like I was shown that I didn't know
No, no. Well,
anything,
maybe we need a different
anything at
name
all.
for it. Okay, because this is now that you said that, I'm like, well, I'm not calling myself an expert. But I guess if you were going to put the area I was most knowledgeable about, maybe we are not going to throw that expert word out there too cautiously because we were just talking about that.
Mhm.
And so, but you got to find people who you believe are real experiencers, not maybe experts in that, and they're good at helping navigate through it because there's so much of it. Like to decode so much of this or to understand, you have to first of all we have to figure out what is real here and what's not. I mean, let's start with that.
Okay.
No,
I
you don't.
don't
I'm not
know.
saying you, I'm just saying the people. Like I'm not, no, like that's like me on my soapbox. Yeah, I'm not saying
Yeah, no,
you. Yeah, I'm like Mojo, like you figure this out, okay, right now, and then no, I'm just talking like,
no,
yeah, like
I got it.
that was so funny. Okay,
Yeah.
get me off of here. He's like, help,
I
I want off of the show. No,
I've
I'm only
no,
sorry.
I'm
You're
honored to be here.
good.
I know what I've read and what I've been able to retain. Um, I have an opinion. I have emotions. I'm a human being. But I think that my own personal reality is going to be separate. I mean, there might be similarities to other people's realities, but it's unique to me for some reason. I think it's personal. For some reason, like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was
Oh,
a
for sure.
like I've been with people that have. There was 10 people one time we saw a UFO fly over my house. It was just an orb of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
That flew over this little condo that I was flying in. There was 10 people at my house at the time. And only half of them saw it.
Oh, I know what that's like.
And they were all standing there watching it happen. They're like, "Nah, I didn't see anything. Nothing happened." And the other ones were like freaked out because they actually saw it.
The other one
Yeah.
saw it too. They saw it. I've had people, I'm telling you, and I've even talked to like James Gillian about it, about people who've been on his ranch, and he's like, no, they saw it. They saw it. I think sometimes, like, even when I've heard from other friends, like, they stopped looking and they're like, they were so afraid because they saw it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like there was that whole thing of, I remember my friend saying, don't you think maybe you've seen just a little too much? And I was like, a little too much? What do you mean by that? But yeah, I think I did see a little too much. Definitely
Well,
at a certain point, those repercussions. Don't you think some people are like that? They stick their head in the sand. I just don't see how some of this they couldn't see.
I don't think they're ready for it. Like I said, I don't think everyone's ready for that enlightenment. They are when it gets injected into the collective consciousness, right? It wasn't until recently, right? 2016, 2017, when they started telling us on the news that the UAP under that new nomenclature, right, was an actual, as it started to progress, this an actual thing, and then more and more people started seeing and believing in UFOs. Like it's almost like a spell itself, isn't it? Like in order for people to start seeing stuff, they have to inject it into the consciousness, collective consciousness of all of us, right?
It has to be believed. You can't think of how many records we've broke. We never thought that before. You have to believe. Don't you think you have to believe something?
I think there's an agenda to it. I really do. And I don't know whether or not, like, I can only tell you that I believe my experiences, even though I have doubts with those experiences.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes from the narrative of people that were elected, that have, for some reason, looking to save their own skin.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, what would be the biggest distraction of all time, right? It would be to tell everyone that aliens, demons, angels, fairies, all that shit exists. You would stop thinking about Epstein. You'd stop thinking about the crimes. You'd even stop thinking about war. You'd probably stop thinking about wanting to work a job. you probably wouldn't give a crap about any of that stuff. But there's something to it too that I've noticed, because I just watched The Age of Disclosure, and if you watch that film and then everything that was leading towards it, it's very, I don't know, like it's hard for me to trust a lot of those people, because a lot of them, they're involved with some pretty shady shit. And at the end of the movie, the major message of that documentary was that we need to give amnesty to these weapons contractors, and they put all the blame, without saying a name, on like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, all that kind of stuff. And for us to have disclosure, we have to forgive them for ridiculing us or putting us on medications when we try to ask for help. I think I mentioned this on your show last night. One of the messages is one of the things they don't want to touch is abductions. They don't want to touch it, because if they admit that there's abductions, the lawsuits, I think, would collapse the government, right?
They can take accountability for that. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, but
not that won't happen for at least another, like, look at how they release information now. It's like, they can't, there's no accountability. And if anybody thinks any of these black budget projects like the CIA and the testing that they've done on humans, the MK Ultra, they just call it a different name now. Like, they never came out and said, hey, we really apologize. Like, I mean, there's been a few times they force, it never ends. No, you're right.
Ended. All they did was, in my opinion, they used LSD as truth serum, right? And then they released it to the public, and everything got weird. Okay. And then that was that was their experiment during the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm. But around I know 90s, they did that to the Rendlesham Forest guys. I know Dr. Kit Green, who's part of the TTSA, and Hale Puthoff and all those guys. That's what they did. LSD. Yeah. Maybe there's a connection there. Testing like that, and then those men, like, that's a lot of what was going on back in those days. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's rumored that it's still going on, just on a mass scale.
I believe it.
And the same chemicals that are inside LSD and in mushrooms or whatever, ayahuasca, right? Some of those same things are in SRIs right now, right? They're psychoactive things that affect the brain, but doesn't give you a trip, right? And it's on a mass scale. They just sold that information over to the pharmaceutical companies, clap their hands of it. And then they just, instead of doing it on individuals, they just do it on a mass scale with an event. I mean, look at 9/11, look at COVID. Any major event, right? I mean, I'm not saying, it's just putting it together, but it's weird.
It's all a bunch of crazy, like they none of this stuff is like smoke and mirrors. The further you get into it, you see the agenda behind it. It's all been planned.
If aliens are real, they're in control.
I wouldn't put that past anyway. I don't think that so when I was on my team and we did our cryptology steganography, but what we did was brevity coding. I probably shouldn't be saying this like a big mouth, but okay. I already started for like, we did like Navy coding, right? So we were figuring out like, okay, so UFO, UAP, none of this. I mean, it goes back who the real players are, like the different timelines. None of this and what we're being fed is what it is. Like, none of it is what it is. And so it's when you start going in, you see the levels of manipulation, and then you wonder how much of this, because a big chunk of this is your government. But what they're looking for in the people who are able to see ET and UFOs, I think, is probably the golden ticket. In all the research and in all the conversations that I have, the people that they're looking for, and among ET experiencers, there's certain attributes. We're all mediums. We're all able to talk to spirits. Some Jeff Selver, he wasn't before until his ET contact. Then all of a sudden he is too. It was never really like, there's just certain known things. And like they found people in the gifted and talented program. That's where I was founded for. They found people, any type of different learning. Didn't matter if it was, any time of different learning. I can think that it even goes like way further, but these are the parts that we've actually gone through and that we've been able to provably see that they are in fact trying to identify people.
Well, either that or submerges into another form of reality, right? Like,
I
so
think
that
they
we
need
don't have a spiritual connection to whatever it is as the collective consciousness.
but it's not
whatever that may
everybody.
be.
Not everybody has this.
I think they can. I don't think myself is being any different than anyone else, other
I'm
than
telling you, the government is looking for certain people who have this inherent
yes. No,
ability.
I get that. You're talking about the programs, the gifted programs, and that kind of stuff. Yes.
But not that has nothing to do with it. It's a way to identify the people they're looking for that have whatever these inherent, like, and maybe like if they didn't need to use them for their own agenda, they wouldn't really be, like anything, like maybe somebody else has something, their thing just isn't what the government's looking for another reason. This isn't like a badge of honor, but the government
Mhm.
is definitely looking for people with certain abilities. And that
Definitely.
ties to ET.
Definitely. Well, if you're talking about interfacing or those that have been what you would call a psionic asset, which is sort of something that's been coming out as of recently. Have you ever seen the movie A Clockwork Shining?
No,
It's
I
a
haven't.
documentary that just came out. I recommend it to everybody, but it talks about Stanley Kubrick's involvement with the MK Ultra program, and that
Yes.
his movies like The Shining and
Mhm.
Clockwork Orange dealt with brainwashing and had all the symbology and all the stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
But then they showed the receipts for the program and what they were trying to do, and one of them was to give someone so much trauma to basically take away those those constructs that have been built up with them since they were brought here into this earth, and then through basically recreation they were able to open them up to their psychic abilities, right?
Mhm.
That you need to watch that documentary. It's pretty
I'm
awesome.
going to. Yeah, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, but yeah, they were looking for people that could be assets as well. I believe that there's plenty of people the same that are doing it now, and people that are now like Carl Crusher, right? He has people on his show right now that are psionic assets that used to work for the government. I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I never thought I'd hear the word psionic asset ever in my life, that it had something to do with bringing down or summoning craft, right? But that's a
Right.
reality now. We're finding out that is real. I don't
Oh,
know.
for sure. With any of it, I mean, every time the ante is upped, they're gonna. I mean, it's just a continuous push pull. The technology, when you start realizing that they have all of these out, all the patents out there for technology that doesn't even exist. Well,
Mhm.
that's like, a little bit time. You're either wasting your time or something.
Yeah.
The rest of us don't know because that's where they're going with stuff. You'll see the
Yeah.
same. I've talked to Jesse Marcel the third about all of this stuff
Yeah.
too. And it's
Yeah.
like it's not a matter of flying cars, like they've got all that figured out. He's like he's doing a patent on a sports car, flying. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, because it is within our existence,
It is. Yeah. I believe it. I
Me
mean,
too.
I don't know, but I believe that they have those technologies for sure. I mean,
Oh, the government holds what, at 40 years before we get technology?
50. Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine what's really I mean, 40 years in advance in technology. Let that sink in for a second. I
Yeah.
mean, that's might explain why nobody in government seems like they're well or like they're legit for that matter or real people. I mean, 40 years of technology, either that or that they're lying to us. I mean, one of the two.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, when I could get to the point where I'm like, I can't be but I'm like, maybe it's a play. I mean, we come right
Maybe.
back down to all of this stuff, but you have to at some point, like I think put these pieces together or assume what it would be like if they did, or even in the middle. But you have to anticipate some of this stuff, or we're not going to maneuver through it. Whatever
No,
they
I
drop
agree.
on us is quick, and it's not going to give you. But always remember, stop and think. Don't just react. Stop and think.
I think the next thing is to try to take us into a post-human world. I really do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's my idea. I mean, I think I've mentioned it on one of your shows. Have you heard of? I have a theory. I don't think you've ever heard of it, but it's a theory I came up with, which is like the Borg theory, and it comes from Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the aliens from Star Trek, they're like machines, right? They evolved with becoming a one collective hive mind intelligence, right? And it stems from this insight that I got is, do aliens have a DMV? Because if they're a million years ahead of us, why would they crash on Earth? And wouldn't they have like cleanup teams, right? To come and keep it from us primates trying to mess with it. And then it recently came out that some of these were gifted, right? So the idea behind the Borg theory is that the aliens stage crashes. They use the aliens on board some of these crashes are robots or biological robots, right? Because that's what we would send to another planet, right? You stage it as a crash, see what the primates on that planet would do with that technology. And then as we progress with that technology, we are basically taking the same evolutionary course as its creators, no matter what.
Sure.
Right? It sounds kind of sinister at that point, right? Because there are people that are speculating that AI may be alien. How long
I think
have they had
alien
AI?
assume that AI, like ET, is going to come here and put themselves in jeopardy. I don't even think that they're conducive with our environment. Like, I think that's why a lot of it happens in their time in their space. And when I asked
Yeah.
about it, they said it was because of contamination. So that's here nor there. Like, that's just what happened during one of my experiences. So I tend to think that and wonder that, but I don't think that. And then two, if our government's mimicking something, I mean, look at Stanley Kubrick and the whole moon landing. Like, how did
Yeah.
they know, and then we're sending, I'm like, this is just all crazy when you take a
Yeah.
step back. It really is.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
down to the fact of like dinosaurs. I mean, this is even crazier. Look how many dinosaurs they've actually really found. And those bones that I thought were in all these museums, no, those most likely are the chicken bones from China because they are radioactive. And then so I'm like, so all these museums, all these years we've been asking, are these real bones? Like, they're not even real. Like, I mean, look into it. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's all right there.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, for
yeah.
real.
Well, they want us to stay to a certain form of idea of evolution, right? Like that has been taught by like what their consciousness, their group consciousness wants us to think or know or not question, right? Like, I wouldn't put it past it, I mean, we don't know other than what they tell us, other than, well, you just keep questioning, and the more you question, it leads you up to that ladder, I believe, of consciousness yourself. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of, we don't really know. We don't really know, but it's starting to come, more unveiled to us, I think, slowly. We really don't know. But there was a request for someone to tell the story of the drone story. You want me to tell you that story?
Yes, I have that. I have it starred. We
Okay.
kind of got into, but yeah, please do.
Okay. 1986. I lived in Southern California, in this area right on the foothills of Mount Helix in La Mesa, California. We lived on the top of a hill. You can look it up, 4670 Marcia Lane. That's where I used to live. And the house was a 2-story house in the sense that there were the 1 story, which is kitchen, pool in the back, rooms towards the northern side, right? And a driveway that winds down. And there was this little loft on top. That was the 2nd story. And that's where I stayed. And I was I think I was 15 going on 16. I was up at night. I was I think I was trying to, I remember I was drawing. I was copying something from a comic book. I was really into wanting to be a comic book artist at the time. And I was up a little late and had the lights on, and then I turned off the lights and I went to bed, and the beds were facing, we'll say, east. Okay. There's stairs on one side, and then there's windows, east, west, and south. Okay. And then where I'm seeing, I can look, this is kind of like where the pool was in that house area. Right. And I turn off the lights, and what I see is a tire, like looking shadow, and a little red light circling around. And I just immediately, when I saw it outside my window, it was making no sound. I turned on the lights and I went looking outside the window to what it was. As I go to the window, I see, I don't know what, I had no reference point. I didn't know what a drone was, right? I had seen, there were remote control airplanes, I believe, at the time, but I'd never seen a military drone, had no reference to what it was. The closest I would say that I thought it was a UFO, and the closest I thought that it was, Terminator, the flying robots, that kind of stuff. And I guess maybe partially with that, maybe, but it was gray. It looked like, and I didn't realize what it was that came to my window until it was during Obama's term that he was bombing Afghanistan, and they started showing these Predator drones. And this one was smaller, had no sound. It was flying very low. And like I said, our house was on top of a hill, and it just went really low, like on near the roofs of these houses going down. And we were on top of a hill. So it was like houses, to one side, the other side, all around. And like I said, I didn't know what it was. And then it was shortly thereafter, about 3 to 4 months, I had moved not far away from that house. And I had experiences in that house too as a kid, but I wasn't sure. I thought they may have been a dream. I had no reference points. I don't know, but that's when I started having like really invasive, like gray alien experiences, or at least what I thought were grays, or abduction experience. And it proceeded for like months after that. Like it was really, 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 really invasive. Like I'm telling me, like the first one I was sitting in front of, I had a small room in this little area in Rancho San Diego. It was a smaller house than the house that I was raised in. And I slept on a couch, right, with a TV. I had this little room, and it was my own. And there's just a window facing west and a couple double doors and whatnot. And I'm sitting there watching TV. And this is, and before that, should I tell the experience before that? I think I'm jumping too far ahead. So let's start with the first experience. Okay. Somehow, just before this happened, I had this feeling like, wouldn't it be awesome if I took a ride on a UFO? Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you gave them permission. You have to give ET.
It just entered my brain that I was. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And
I asked for the nickel tour. That's how I got it.
And so I had this feeling, okay, that sounds like I would like to have a ride with a UFO. Sure. And then I don't remember what happened after that. I don't know if it was the same day. All I know is that everything went like black, but I'm still conscious. And then there was a flash. I thought I was, it felt like dreamscape a little bit. I'm back at that old house that I grew up in with the 2 stories, right? I'm walking in from the pool. There was a gate that connected to the garage, and then into the driveway that went around and down into the street. And I'm hearing what sounds like really metallic sounding male. Like I couldn't tell you if it was male or if it was, but it was really, really like electronic sounding. And I see up in the sky 2 no, three. It was three. What you would call classic saucer, octagonal, silver-shaped craft that were like saying something as they were flying by in the sky. They were just going like this, and they were in a vector formation, one in the front, two in the back. And then I saw what looked like sort of the face of a gray, kind of transparent. And as they're flying by, I go out to the two gates as if, I mean, it was like I was there. And I screamed to them, "Don't leave me here." And one of them lands at the top of the foot before it goes down the driveway. And it looked like it was the size of a toy. As I got closer to it, all of a sudden, boom, it's a big ship, and something that looks like a fetus grabs me and puts me in. Okay, it did not resemble the beings that I saw like in these little visions of the craft, right? So all of a sudden, I'm having flashes of different things. I'm in a room that looks like a dentist office. It's all white. It's bright. It has this like weird like structure that looks like a shelving of some kind, but it came from the floor. I found myself on a table there, but that was from my vantage point. It felt like I was slanted. And then there were these little beings that were whitish, little. They were 3 or 4 feet tall. That were coming towards me. And then there was something that got and faced me, but I couldn't make out its face, but I felt like it wasn't happy with me. All right.
You never look happy.
It was all distorted though, but I could tell that I was looking at a face, eyes, and a mouth. Right. And then I started like seeing visions of like tubes and like what looked like a man mask on fire. I just felt like there's this headache, like someone had taken like a sledgehammer to my head. And then everything went black. I heard also during this whole thing, it sounded like Tibetan monks, like doing their chanting, you know, like just real, like that through the whole thing. Right. So I start to realize it's all black and I'm still awake. I feel conscious. I wake up, I'm on the couch in a fetal position with a pillow over my head. And towards the window, there was a gray alien with its hand. I guess it would be like this, facing how we're looking now. Its left hand up. It had a satchel. And the only thing that I could, describe it was like, Whitley Strieber had come out with a book sometime around that time. They had the gray picture on that, Time Life Alien, like whatever. Like I didn't have any reference points to it. And then as I started to wake up, I couldn't move. It just started to kind of dissipate in front of me. It was preceded by another experience where I'm having zapping sounds and feeling like a Tesla coil, the zap, zap, and I could feel it in the back of my neck. And then I wouldn't be able to, I became unconscious. There was another one where I've had 2 experiences with grays, or what I thought. I don't know what they are. I couldn't tell you if they're real or not. But this thing came from the TV set. I saw a portal open up in front of it looked like a spirally portal in front of the TV set. It started real small, then expanded. And I remember there was like colors to it. There was like, it almost looked like it was kind of pink and green and kind of blue and whatever. And then something grabbed my face and was trying to get me to look into its eyes. And I freaked out. And I said,
"Did you see my intro? I have that actually like in my intro, hands reaching out to a kid watching TV, because it's symbolic of that, just what you're talking about."
Yeah. And it like, this is the weird part. Like after I said no to it in my head, it snapped its fingers like this, smirked, and then went back into the portal and disappeared. I had a portal open up at work. I was working selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. This is all around the same time, where I was conscious, and all of a sudden the steering wheel of the van I was in. We were in a work van that would go to house to sell these vacuum cleaners. God help me with that job. But it started to spiral, and like the arms of whatever this thing was sounded like if you had attached paper to a fan, and it was like flap, 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 flap. I could see like within this hole that was opening up, it looked like some sort of embers or something. And then it just opened up and then closed. So I've had more than a few. That's not my first experience with something above a TV set. I've had another one. But what really got me to start to believe was when I started having like non-visionary experiences, right? Like when you actually see a UFO.
Yeah.
Or when
I've never had them. There's a disconnect there. Never have I've seen a craft and then had it happen. Not like I saw the craft and it happened right away. It was never like that. Never ever.
Yeah,
And
mine
mine were a graduation. Like I started off with the short grays too, and then it was like the tall grays, and then I went to a different. Everybody talks about the grays, and I was like, in my experience, and now I don't know. Maybe there's, like what I was seeing. Like I don't know necessarily if, like white. I can just tell you how they glowed. I can tell you like how it's. I don't know. Like it's just like it gets so confusing because some people are like, oh, the grays, but but I don't have that full memory recall. I don't know exactly if I just have that illusion, but I'll never stop and stay there. That's why I continue to question that. And there's
this is the thing that I think is really weird about it, though, because like I keep going back in my memory throughout my years up until now that there was something wrong with that experience, and somehow it's connected to the drone.
Right.
Did I see something I wasn't supposed to see? Was someone in the military like spying on me for some reason? Because you hear about all these rumors of like the military and the CIA.
Or was
being
that
involved.
our government? Is that our government? Is this two different naturally not naturally, excuse me, like maybe one's more natural, like maybe our contact that way, but then the government's coming in and seeing what, testing or what they've done or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that.
I don't know either. I mean, but it would be a good way to, because when I was having these evasive experiences, I was still, I guess what you would call a person who went to church with his family. And I tried talking to my pastor, like, what's going on? They told me to pray. It's probably the devil. Then I ended up going and having, to a psychiatrist and a therapist. And I told them about this experience, and they're, oh yeah, something happened to you. And then there's like cocktail medication of different SRIs you're on, highly addictive chemicals.
Oh yeah.
And like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with you.
That's what I mean, that they identified. I firmly believe you were identified at some way, shape, form, or way along the way, and that they wait for those times because those types of psychotropic medications, like I'm telling you, as a mental health therapist, I didn't prescribe, but I sure did have to manage the people that were on them and know that so many of those are suppressing, and that it's all about, so you don't have those abilities or don't have the access because they develop, they grow, they evolve.
Trying to reinsert you into the matrix, trying to make you a good citizen so you can fit in with everyone in society.
Or at least make you believe that.
Or on the end, the dark end of it, which I experienced too, which is evasive dark thoughts and highly addictive chemicals. Right. When I finally decided that I did not want to take any more medication is when I was going through the death of my stepfather and a divorce and all sorts of stuff. And I started having like thoughts about killing my mom and my dogs. And I was just like, these are not my thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I started, the more I thought about it, I'm like, is this how they get people to like do events? Is to get them like shootings and that kind of stuff? This is how you program them? I mean,
So what led up to, I had a buddy who he will not go back to the state of New York for this reason. He all but should have taken out a school that way. A
Yeah.
friend intervention, he got a call from his buddy who they kind of planned it with. He said it was whatever that call. He's like, lights were on, no one was home. He's like, he started having all of these thoughts, all these whatever.
Yeah.
His friend, this girl, came and intervened right in minutes before he was supposed to kaboom the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, Jeremy, something doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right. And so pulled him aside and he ended up admitting it. He got 10 years out of it. He's like, it was he said, well worth it. He calls her every year on that anniversary and thanks her. He won't go near the state of New York or where that happened or anywhere ever again. And he said it was just like the lights went off or on. It was crazy.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. I'm glad I'm totally like, I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I don't touch anything. And
what do you think it was that was trying to, I guess, do you think it was like, he always tried to figure out what it was?
If there's a program for psionics, I think there's also a program for people within the psychiatry and big pharma to reinsert us back into the 3D that we live in, 3D reality without questioning and just be good citizens. Turn us into robots, basically. Like we're not supposed to, like, at one point our ancestors I believe that they looked to certain people that were the gateway between the worlds and then would come to them, but we don't live in that society anymore. And it's considered to be, at least during that time, I believe that it was still the time of ridicule. It was still the time to dissuade anyone that thought that they were a sensitive or a psychic of any kind, I don't think I'm, like I said, I really don't think I'm any different than anyone else other than I'm creative. But I think mine came from trauma at an early age.
But are all of the trauma is the only way in?
Yeah.
Trauma is the only way in through any of this.
Well, there are native belief systems that if the brain thinks it's going to die, right? Even if you don't die, that your spirit or your consciousness is like in between worlds. You're like halfway into the spirit realm and halfway into this reality. I don't know. I mean,
that would be a good explanation as to my problems.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck between two worlds. I'm sorry.
You are. And that's why we have to get into the mindset, I think, it's almost like spiritual martial arts, right? Like, and even in those systems, like esoteric systems, learning ritual, learning these different things, to get you into that mindset, you still have to be healthy too. Like part of being, not just meditation is eating right, and physically being able to handle it, both physically and emotionally. But, I just, that's the path I took. I wanted to find answers. I looked for teachers and gurus only to find out that those people could only give me their interpretation and didn't really have answers.
Nope.
Just led me to still question it. So I delved in and believe that I have to be my teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody, I thought we'd move on too. Like once I made it on board, I called him like, so what do I do now? And he's like, I don't know. Like, he didn't know. And I was like, you need to tell people this because I assumed you had some book over there or something where somebody has an absolute nobody. There's nobody alive that does. But that's where we can like join. But if you don't think that there's anything special about you in particular, I beg to differ. And maybe even just coming, like, there's something that they're looking for. And if everybody had it, then there'd be no need to look.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been very like highly creative. I guess you call it like, is that right brained? Right. Like from day one, I was drawing nonstop, I was creating stuff nonstop. Like I'm self-taught in guitar and bass and like playing drums and composing on my digital audio workstation. Like I trained myself, and it was always really easy for me to do that kind of stuff. And then also felt easy to get into books on spirituality and doctrines and that kind of stuff and read them. Even if I wasn't from that culture, I felt like I could comprehend them, you know? And I just felt like that was my way of kind of spiritually searching. Right. But yeah, I don't know. I've had more than just, alien experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I've had ghost experiences. I've had
So the rest of us, yeah.
God
I grew up
forms.
in the paranormal. I
Yeah.
grew up a medium, seeing spirits. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we would just, the paranormal to others would be just normal.
Normal. That's what we say. Yeah. It's just, there's no paranormal. It's just normal.
It's just normal to
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. That's exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So, I guess I've been blessed and burdened with it, hence that I added mad to my last name because people, like, you try to talk to them and you want to share your experiences to see if you can connect to another human being. And most people just are not prepared or ready for it.
They're not prepared and ready for it, and that's okay. But I don't think we need to make any exceptions for them. I don't. I just, like, I feel like we should be prepared if they short out, because it's really not. If you believe and you buy into 2 seconds of anything that they told you about, that you weren't good enough or those people are more important than you, I beg to differ. Because I seem to think that, especially if you're gravitated and there's people, and the people in our chat, they all have these abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me crazy to the degree, because I think if anybody wants to develop something, I could go, and I like to, like, let's say, ski. I'm not very good at it, like, whatever. But there's certain people that have the ability to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Would I ever, I don't care if I were out on those slopes 24/7, 365 days a week, and I don't care if I tried and I tried and I tried, it's not going to happen. I might make it down, like an average slope. That's it. That's not break something. But that's just, I believe, kind of the way of the world, like, and whatever it is, because if we can't say that some of these things are different and they're looking for them, and that's not good for us. Like, that's not being like, hey, positive for us. Being tracked and targeted is not fun. This is horrible. It's a horrible experience. And if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, if you want to get to the bottom of this, and I hopefully inevitably get some of it to stop or get some control on it. Because without us having control of that narrative, think of what could possibly go wrong next. After the last 5 years, like, they're going to get us in trouble, because the government's not going to wait, and they're not going to be like, oh, well, because they're telling us that with slow disclosure. I don't think that's the case. I think they need something to get them panic enough, because they're going to drop it. When they drop it, they're going to drop it so quickly, and everybody's just going to react. They're not going to think. They're not going to stop and think.
Well, we're seeing a cosmic alignment that hasn't been seen since 79 AD.
Oh, wow. That's
I think right now that and it's not just a planetary alignment now than in our solar system, and that's already happened. But now we're faced with that reality, right? Like, before us. So it's stuff that I think the ancients talked about, their different religions that they did. And I think that's what we're facing now, is the reality before us that is being shown that they were trying to warn us about or talk about for some time. I think the veil is thinner now. I think there are more and more people now experiencing things that previous to this that didn't. I don't know. I believe that.
What if those people? What if, let me give you one last, and I'll let it go. What if those people that we think we're waiting on, that are not ready? What if those are the people that never will ever be ready, because they don't have that ability to be?
Well, then they're going to rely on people like us that do.
But we're waiting on them.
We're waiting on them to be able to catch up. That's all of this stuff, in my belief. I guess you'd call them the normies, the normals.
What if those normies are like those humans that are planted here, or like I always say there's the way that the system and this seems like the NSA, and just remember if you go back to some of the stuff that, the programs, then they'll plant everything around and they deter you. I mean, you can look at the Unabomber, the guy who
Yeah.
tracked him, they made him. Like they
Yeah.
legitimately made him that way or made him like that. And so I'm thinking like if maybe that's maybe we should believe that we got and we can handle and take the control, I guess. I don't know what other way to say it, but I feel like waiting and saying that these people and just holding ourselves back in so many ways.
Maybe. I mean, maybe we were supposed to be here at this time, and maybe we were chosen. Who knows? I sometimes feel like that. I've been awakened for some reason, for some unknown future event, to be aware of the strangeness and weirdness around us. And for some reason, all the years where people were calling me crazy or ridiculing me, or all of those were tests. And I am here at this moment in time, exactly where I'm supposed to be for this event, whatever that may be. And I think this event is going to be, whatever it may be, this grand event, right, is going to be all of it at once. I think that's my belief system, that it's more than just,
oh, absolutely. That gave me the chills. Yeah, that's exactly that's exactly it. That's exactly what I can't shake either.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think they're going to be people, they're going to want answers, and they need people that like us to be able to explain it to them if we can. But the problem is there's so much information, and how do you get through all the smoke and mirrors of it all to find out the real answer? Like,
or maybe they were never meant to know.
Maybe, but if there are beings that can alter your mind, right, from a look, and they are real, they can also alter the situation and environment too, right? If they are shape-changing beings that can go amongst us, they can also, what if they're not aliens at all? What if they are like some form of remnant consciousness that has evolved, like a solar consciousness that can take the shape of anything it wants? What if it can move through different realities? Like what if that's the case? Like when you start getting stuck on the different types of aliens or these different stories they constantly try to pound down into us, you start to lose sense of your own experiences in a way. It's good historically to go into it or to look into it or to research it, but how does it affect you personally, and how does what I'm saying in the long run? Yeah.
Sometimes we need words to communicate, but they shouldn't be defining. They shouldn't cause a reaction to start taking on attributes or fitting into the mold. It's only a way of a description. It should never. That was the hardest part about being a mental health therapist, was like people and their diagnosis. I'd be like, don't even worry about what the diagnosis is. You're having symptoms. And I think logically, if you look to your environment, you're going to understand like 70% of them. Of course, you're going to have heretically, like, some of that stuff that you bring in, and then to like a combination of the two. But it's so important. But yet it's like we need terms to communicate with one another, like who's who, what's what, because if we completely lose that, then we're just it's still, I feel like the best to either go way out in public or just like drop off the face of the earth. But for some reason, there's a certain percentage of this population they're very interested in, and they need for whatever reason. And I don't think until we can get to that point, and it is true, you're like, the kids are so mean, and they do that to like push you down. So you think, oh my gosh, oh, you got a big imagination. Oh, it's all put there to keep those constructs in that like keep you in those like that parameter. Like, so that is what I feel like. Those people might not just be these innocent bystanders that are here because they just can't wrap their minds around it. Maybe they're here to completely deter your path.
Yeah,
like
but then
maybe we need to like,
that goes into like the Agent Smith theory a little bit, right? For the Matrix, that you'll be talking about something with some subject, and then they glitch out and they start telling you the propaganda like Agent Smith would. So
Yeah.
so that goes back into reality. What is real? If we're only seeing things through the 3D reality we see them, what is real? I mean, you might be sitting next to a homeless person who to you seems off and odd, and then all of a sudden you talk to them and they sound like a normal person. Like, are you looking at a homeless person, or is this something that is just in disguise amongst us?
Yeah. Or how many cars have you seen, and you see that same car that keeps going around in that loop? It's like,
Yeah,
the neighbor walking the dog. Is that is that part of, I always think of a game of chess. Is that like your pawns being, they're kind of like the imprints, how I see spirits sometimes. And then I
yeah.
see what I call the imprints of spirits, and they've always got the same routine. They carry on whether like you don't see anything they're doing or not. And I attribute that to those people that are here and kind of the fillers, if that makes sense.
Could be, or there are all sorts of mythologies to things that take the shape of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Or forget it. I forget where Dolores something. What was her name? She was kind of a new agey person talking about like the two Earths. But she talked about like an unformed humans amongst us, right?
Mm-hmm.
People, we've talked about the soulless, right? That are just constructs, or the idea like recently with like non-player characters, that our reality is a series of prompts, and numbers. Um, I felt like I've had experiences with that too. I don't know. Dolores Cannon, thank you very much. Or Zero AZ, thank you very much. Dolores Cannon talked about like that, but that's also going back into like um, different forms of thought throughout, human existence, right?
Right.
For everything that I experienced, it almost felt like whether I wanted to experience or not, it was almost like even you would consider like a positive or negative. They seem like they all wanted me to acknowledge that they were there for some reason, or they wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
hello. I've only
Oh
had
yeah.
one experience with a negative entity, and I was able to tell it to go take a hike.
Oh, I've had one, and when it came up, I used to bare its teeth. It was not like anything, but I do have something a little crazy that's currently going on around. I don't know if it's like a cryptid or what the heck the deal is, but at some point I think all roads cross. But yeah, there's something definitely weird. But paranormal, in as many like haunted places that I have been in, I've not, but I don't ever, for the most part, there's been a few, isolated situations. I don't show it fear either. I don't fear
Yeah,
it.
I don't fear it either. Even when I was faced with it, it doesn't seem scary. I mean, when it first started happening, it seemed kind of scary because it was overwhelming. You're like, what the hell is going on? But I often wonder about this a lot. Like, what if there's areas on this earth that are where consciousness and the laws of physics intermingle to the point where it manifests something. Now is it the entity that we manifested, so therefore it becomes a reality, or is it something that's taking the shape of something that has come from our subconscious, right? I don't know. Like that that one, you hear like David Paulides at one point was exploring portals and areas near lakes and rivers and flowing
Mm-hmm.
water where people not only saw Bigfoot or dogmen, but they also saw UFOs and spirits. But there's also like a lot of weird cryptid or entity encounters that seem like they came from a comic book. Like, how do you describe that? Or something like there's been tales of like toys all of a sudden
Yeah.
becoming animated and talking. There are people, I mean, just like I have a friend who had an evil Spider-Man encounter, what he thought looked like Venom climbing up a hill. Like, how do you explain that? Like that came to that theory. Like, are there places on this earth where consciousness bends or interacts with us in a way? I don't know, but that would kind of explain some of it. I mean, is it a physical manifestation? Is it like a tulpa or like an egregore, like that we create unconsciously that shows itself? But like, once again, how do we know what's real? Like, if it's a simulation, if it's all an illusion, then we don't really know, but then again, those experiences become almost like personal to your own reality and how you've shaped it. Right.
I call them points of reflection. And
Yeah.
I think they're tailored to each individual person. Think about how you can go with the technology now and you can take your airline ticket. I think like 100 people can do this and they can cross and look up at the same board, but they're all going to see there differently and personalized to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure that one out.
Yeah. I mean, Swamp Dog, who was in our audience, I don't know if he's still here, but I mean, the way he was describing what he was seeing seems like almost like interdimensional beings with the Dogman stuff. Because those were showing up in not only in one location, but they were showing up in other locations and interacting with him. And then it doesn't seem, and then he shot the thing, right?
Yeah.
He shot the thing, it just flinched and just like went into the woods. Like it showed no blood. Like what is, is that a being or is that a projection?
Right.
Is it a real entity? Like, or is it an entity that can take the form of something like that?
Or look at what's like a superhero. I'm trying to think that could take bullets like up into, I mean, literally it just like, unless
Superman.
that was their kryptonite, they were like, fine, it didn't matter how many times you shot him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there's like that superhuman ability too. I don't know, but I very well could have been created in a lab or two. I think that holograms are the future. And you look at so many places like China and with all these drones, and they're awfully realistic. I mean, they are awfully, those holograms look like, I mean, I have to keep telling myself like, that's not real. Like, because they look so real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're only showing us what they're allowing us to have. Right. Like, I mean, that's when you start going into like Project Bluebeam or, it being a psyop or a cover up for like military technology. But then it starts to get really weird when you start to look at certain locations and certain movements, especially like with this current administration. Like they decided to move Space Fleet Command. I mean, the whole thing about Space Force was really interesting. And its inception, it came right after that, almost right after that encounter off of Catalina with the Tic Tac UFO.
Yeah.
Right. And like, where was I going with this? Like Huntsville, Alabama. Have you heard of the stories of Huntsville, Alabama? That they're moving a Space Force to Huntsville, Alabama, and there's like people have like been killed trying to disclose what's happening there, right? And the main reason is like the reason why it's the perfect place is because nobody's like would pay attention to Huntsville, Alabama, but there's rumors that there's some sort of like underground like base there. Right. And that a lot of the Nazi scientists from World War II were sent to Huntsville, Alabama during Operation Paperclip. And they say if there's going to be disclosure, it's going to be Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah. And so for those that are listening in, there's a whole episode of Redacted talking about Huntsville, Alabama.
Wow.
But they just admitted that we have warp drive through that documentary. They just admitted that Roswell was real, right? What do you guys do? You all believe it, whether you believe it or not? Like, what is it that there is? The continuation of that as well was that there is this like arms race going on with trying to develop these technologies right before us. But how much of that is real, like from what they tell, and how much do they want us to believe it? We don't know. Someone is asking, what do portals do?
No, I think they were asking what for somebody in the chat. I just saw that I don't know because my screen at the same time that happened, my screen went blank, and I
Yeah.
had to turn the chat back on the
No, that's
screen.
fine.
So yeah, I don't know what happened or what the situation was, but I'm actually blank. I had to pop it up like that's why it's on the screen so I can see that chat. I was gonna log in a different way, so
That's
I'm
fine.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened.
It's fine. I don't know. I have no idea. I know that I feel like we are portals too. You know,
Right.
that's one of my beliefs is that we're the gateways and a lot of things. Maybe there's natural
Oh, for
gateways too.
sure.
But I don't know.
You
You
don't
know,
know, and that's I
yeah,
think it's great though because you bring the information and I love that style, and I definitely would love to set up a part two with you because I'm gonna start my little mini series I'm doing with Operation Black Mirror, and it's not
nice.
exactly. I think that I really want to get like down and keep going, like down some of these like rabbit holes, and I really I've enjoyed, and I feel like we just opened up the can and I would love to find out more what with like your symbology and
Okay.
I'm very impressed by like your wealth of knowledge. I mean that's absolutely awesome.
Well,
But
thank you. I can only pass on what I have. I mean, and also if I'm always looking for a guest co-host. If you're especially coming up after this next show that I'll be doing.
anytime, yeah,
If
let me know.
would you like to join me in a couple Saturdays
Oh,
for
for
an of
sure.
dark matter, and we can talk about more about UFOs and your show. You're welcome to. I would like that very much. Um,
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. I would definitely, I would love that.
okay, then let's set it up. I will message you and we'll try to get you on there. But like anything else you'd like to ask me, I'm
Well,
free
I
and
just
open.
say in closure, oh
Okay.
hi Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. I just want to know, yeah, because I'm gonna get those clips out. I love getting the clips. I always tell people I'm trying not to like focus so much on that, but if I keep it under 2 hours, I can get it on StreamYard, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like I'm
Absolutely.
clips. So anyway, yeah, I just in closing, why don't you tell people, not only just a little bit more about your show, when they can find you, where they can
Okay.
find you,
Okay.
that type of stuff, and then two, oh, thanks, Kurt W75. That's awesome. Oh man, I appreciate that. And then
Thank you.
two, like words, for people to. I always say, leave. What would you like to leave our guests with tonight? Like, what would you like to leave our audience with tonight? I'm real big on that.
Okay.
So those are my
Okay.
two questions.
My main thing is I'm here regardless of ridicule to tell my stories, to tell my experiences to you, and that it is our time now to communicate with one another and not be afraid to talk about these things in the open, regardless of ridicule. People are going to ridicule you no matter what. But just know that there are others that have had experiences with you, with this stuff, just like yourself, and I'm one of them. And like, stop caring about what other people think. My show, Of Dark Matters podcast. I also do another show called Transmutations, which is my own solo irregular show that I do. But the Of Dark Matters podcast is on Podbeam, and we talk about the occult, the supernatural, conspiracy, and world news. From our perspective, we are also a free speech platform, which means we talk about things that would also probably make others uncomfortable. But I feel personally that having free speech for now, especially in the age of, people trying to be silenced, that we need to continue opening conversation and hearing of all points of view. And the more you try to drive people underground, right, or silence them, they're only going to have people search for it. So why not talk about it? Why not talk about it with, whether you agree with me or you disagree with my co-host or whoever I put on my show. I, like you said earlier, like I'd fight for you to be able to speak your mind. And if you're an alien amongst us, come on the show. I'd love
Right.
to interview you.
don't know if that's like within there, but yeah, you can call anonymously. I mean, I will take that call.
So yeah, I'm on Podbeam. Saturdays.
Anonymity.
Saturdays usually 5 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Right now we're on holiday hours, which is 3 p.m. kind of irregular because my co-host Dr. Clutch has been working and trying to get himself over to Japan. So yeah, come check us out. We have call-ins sometimes, and I hope that you'll join us.
Yes, that's awesome, and I'd definitely be joining you. Like, I think that I love the whole vibe. It's like so like this is right up my alley for sure. So
Thank you.
yeah, I
I'm
like it
honored.
a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, so
yeah.
definitely get over and check it out. And we'll be bringing you back for a part 2. And I would love to know more about. We'll get that all taken care of.
Of
So
course.
again, thank you on behalf of SNX Radio. I'll let you get
Thank
going,
you.
and I will be in touch tonight. Yeah, I'll DM you then. But yes, so that was pretty awesome. I don't know what happened with whispering portals. My screen went blank. I tried to look and I can't even see it on there. So if somebody talks to her, just let her know that I have no idea. That was weird. I've had a couple of glitches, I guess, now happen with StreamYard, but that's kind of the deal. Not exactly sure. So I'll try and get that figured out. But oh no, I see her back in. She's back in. Okay, good. There was a glitch. So yeah, sorry about that. Lord, everything went blank in chat for me and I couldn't see. I had to pull it up on the screen. So I have no clue. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here tonight. On Wednesday at 5 p.m., we have Bigfoot Michigan Rob coming on. So definitely it's going to be a little bit earlier than what you guys are used to, but it's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to come and join. Rob will be on as a guest. So definitely think you guys don't want to miss that one. So yes. Oh gosh. So I really appreciate everybody in chat tonight. And yeah, this is a really cool show. I definitely want to do more of this. And like I said, too, and I wanted, I guess, just one last update before I let you go. I have to watch the time. Got to get those shorts, Anyway, anybody who's donated into Super Chat, I have a list of people going on that have been guests on our show, such as James Gillian is going to offer a clearing and a few things to throw into a gift basket. Our Pink Bella Aloha is going to offer some, like whether that be like card readings or whatever, it's going to be tailored to the individual. But anybody who has thrown a super chat or anything this way, I have been keeping track, and I figure probably I'm going to say in February, March 1st, I want to get all the sponsors behind it together, and then put their name in a drawing, and the top 3 lucky people will get a personalized package from me for thanking you. So it definitely will be cool. I tell you, I'm pulling some strings here to find some really cool things to give back to each and every one of you. So I just love you guys to death. Thank you so much. The chat's like family, and at any time, I just love that, we get along so well, love and support. We can all think differently, but I guarantee that we don't all have to think the same. Keep asking questions, keep questioning things, and, go from there. Just be good to one another. So on behalf of SNX Radio, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. And we will be back again Wednesday night with Michigan Rob. So Bigfoot Michigan Rob, if you guys have not gone over to his channel and checked it out, definitely.
Unraveling the mystery, secrets in the night. We travel through the cosmos, ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the Sub Nation X Quest, the truth is our guide in the vast expanse. It's where we reside, hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us, everything's alright.
From the Sub Nation X Quest, the truth is our guide in the vast expanse. It's where we reside, hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us.
let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller ring will never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spot. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX Radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX Radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side, we stay.